The Mass Effect games are perfect, and everyone loved the ending, right? What? That some people didn't like the ending? Oh yeah. Some people got a little upset, and it caused a big controversy. I wonder how many other controversies there are. Welcome back, Commander. Controversy in video games has always been around, from games that were banned to games that had significant changes just to remain on the shelf, and Mass Effect is no exception. These are my top 5, but if there's any I missed, let me know in the comments. Okay, so we can't talk about Mass Effect controversy without talking about the big one. It's been over 10 years since the end of Mass Effect 3, and still, to this day, people are unhappy about the way it ended. Now, I'm not going to dwell on this too much, because there's been a ton of videos out there already that's trashing the ending, and to be honest, I don't mind it. My advice, pick Destroy, but whichever ending you do prefer, start a fresh game with that in mind, and then you'll have a far better experience. The reason it caused such a massive controversy is that the game's ending was rushed, and Bioware just couldn't live up to the hype they had created. Builders at Every Decision Matters, when the ending comes round, is accused of just having a different colour ending. One angry gamer even went to the trouble of sending Bioware a selection of cupcakes with red, blue and green frosting. But the kicker is they all tasted the same. Brilliant. In response, Bioware issued the Extended Cut DLC, free of charge, and that addressed some of the issues players were not happy about, although not all of them. The Extended Cut came as a default ending to the Legendary Edition. So with that out of the way, let's look at other times Mass Effect caused some waves. In 2008, the Fox News ran a segment entitled Sex Box, where author and psychologist Cooper Lawrence claimed Mass Effect was desensitizing men through violence and sexual encounters. She stated that you only play as a man and can choose how many women you sleep with. Thankfully, video game expert and Spike TV host Jeff Knightley was on hand to defend the game.
Cooper, have you ever played Mass Effect?
No.
Host Martha McCullum also claimed that the game had full-on nudity and the player could choose what would happen in the sexual encounters. Jeff did an admirable job defending the game.
It's through the evolution of a relationship with characters and the fact that this game has incredible artificial intelligence and you can actually fall in love in this game, and it's just like modeling your life.
However, he was cut short numerous times. After a little back and forth, it switched to a panel who went on to describe the game as a
Luke Skywalker meets Debbie Does Dallas.
You can tell these people had never even heard of the game before they were wheeled out to slate it on national TV. Following the broadcast, Bioware and EA were not happy, and a letter was sent by Jeff Brown, EA's Vice President Communications, and he calls the elements of the Fox News report flat out false, and likens the sexual content to the kind of fare that appears on network television. Cooper Lawrence apologised for her remarks, saying that she spoke out of turn when discussing the game. She says, "I recognise that I misspoke. I really regret saying that, and now that I've seen the game and the sex scenes, it's kind of a joke. But before the show, I'd asked somebody about what they had heard, and they said it was like pornography. But it's not like pornography. I've seen episodes of Lost that are more sexually explicit." It's never known if this was a genuine or it was because her book at the time was getting bombed with negative reviews on Amazon. Here's a bonus one. Due to the Fox News controversy, this had a major impact on the character of Jack. She was due to be pansexual in Mass Effect 2. Speaking with her, she'll actually tell you about her sexual encounters with both men and women. However, in the game she can only be romanced by a male shepherd. Due to the Fox News, Bioware chiefs didn't want a repeat of the sexual criticism, shedding a negative light over the game. This, in my opinion, was a mistake. Bioware could have led the way with their inclusion of sexual orientation. Instead, they played it safe and listening to the people they shouldn't have, a trait that they will repeat and listen to the critics of Mass Effect Andromeda, dropping that game because people didn't like it. In Bringing Down the Sky DLC, Bioware also took a little dig at the Fox News report, and you can see it just here. Oh, and if you haven't already, would you mind giving me a boom on the like button? It really does help me out. In 2011, Female Shepherd, or Fenshep as she would be known, was due to have a default look. Up until this point, only Male Shepherd, or Broshep as he became known, had an official face. It would be him that had graced the promotional artwork for the first 2 games, but right from day one you could choose to play as a male or a female lead. Therefore, Femshep should have an equal ground from the start, but at least they had recognised this and decided to do something about it. But it didn't quite go to plan. The idea was to run a poll and let the community decide the standard face for the female shepherd. 6 designs were created and the blonde-haired shepherd won the Facebook poll, coming first with 25,000 votes, compared with second place on just short of 10,000 votes. Just out of interest, who would you have voted for? And can you guess who came second? Pop your answer in the comments and I'll let you know if you were right at the end of the video. However, as you can see, this is actually a red-haired shepherd that has become the official look. This is because the blonde shepherd was deemed to be too much of a Barbie doll. The organisers admitted the blonde hair might have swayed the vote, so a second round was decided to choose the final colour, with red winning that round. Kim Richards of PC Gamer was not impressed, saying that she preferred her characters to have more personality than these bland looks. Overall, the stunt was seen more of a beauty contest and less like the hero FemShep is. For Mass Effect Legendary Edition, the default female shepherd has been backported into the first 2 games to bring them in line with Mass Effect 3, and thankfully you'll still be able to customise your shepherd so you're not stuck with this look. Tali is a long-standing crew member on board the Normandy. Throughout the series she's ever present and being recruited into the first Mass Effect, rejoining in Mass Effect 2 and 3. By Mass Effect 2 she can become a love interest. Her species, the Quarians, have an extremely weak immune system. To protect themselves they wear environmental suits and are completely sealed in. Now this might be a little tricky to get a quick kiss in the engineering, or fumble in the captain quarters, as doing so could make Tali very sick. However, if you do decide to romance her, she'll leave a picture next to your bed. This is where the controversy comes in. In the original Mass Effect games, Bioware got a little lazy and just used this stock image. Players have been waiting a long time to see her face, and this was very disappointing. Bioware did however correct this in Legendary Edition by using an updated image that was more in line with what fans expected. It's still a shame you don't actually get to see her face in any of the cutscenes though. Miranda is a genetically modified perfect woman, and talk to her enough times and she'll be happy to tell you about it. In fact, as she's telling you about it, she likes to show off her rear. A lot. Sometimes she can forget that she's flaunting her assets and do the appropriate times. In reality, this means that some suggestive camera angles. I think the original idea was to have the player see that Miranda was the perfect woman, and the visual representation of that goes hand in hand with the dialogue. However, times have changed, and there's one scene where the camera angle doesn't match up to the words being spoken. So a modder moved the camera in the original game so it was a little more tasteful. In Mass Effect Legendary Edition, the developers also recognised this and made the same camera adjustments. As you can imagine, it sent shockwaves through the fans, and YouTube videos started popping up everywhere on how the company was censoring the game. This was nonsense of course, but still people believed it to be true. So a modder put the butt shots back into the game. What's funny about this story is that the same modder who goes by the name of Scottina123 who took them out in the original game. I guess they really want players to have a choice. Speaking of mods, if you're on PC, I have a video that has the essential mods that you need for Legendary Edition, so go watch that video next, it's on screen now. Second place was this shepherd, let me know in the comments if you guessed right. And a big thank you to Nerdy Dude, the supporters, and you for watching. And I'll see you next time. Commander.